And we're now recording.
I think we lost Joe.
Sorry,
There he
I
is.
only try to get my door closed.
Everybody, what's up? Sorry, I'll do a 5 count. 5, 4, 3, 2. Everybody, what's up? And welcome to our debut show called Change of Heart. I'm your host, Anthony Getters, and my partner is...
Greg Weiss.
That's right. So welcome, everyone. Today we have someone by the name of Joe Mack, who unfortunately is going in for, like everybody else here, we all have bad hearts. So Joe's going in for a TARV on the 21st of September, this coming Thursday, and then we'll interview him afterwards to talk about his experience with that. So Joe, welcome to our show.
Welcome,
Thank you.
Joe.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so give us a brief history of where you started with heart disease.
Okay. Well, I guess it should go back to my father. My father had heart disease,
Okay.
hardening of the arteries, they used to call it. He had his first heart attack when he was 45, and that was back in, I want to say late 50s, early 60s.
Okay.
Back then, they really didn't have many treatments for that.
Okay.
They had started doing the catheterizations, but he was afraid to go.
Okay.
They were doing bypasses. He was afraid to get the catheterization to see if the bypass would even work. So he had a series of heart attacks over the next 15 years.
Oh, wow.
Fourth one finally did him in. He didn't die at the heart attack. He probably died 2-3 weeks later. He just never got his strength back.
Oh, wow.
And he was only 59 years old when he died.
Oh, so he was young.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it was always on my mind. My father's got the heart condition. Am I going to get it? What am I going to have?
Okay.
So I tried to stay healthy. I used to run until I blew my knee out. I couldn't do that anymore.
Okay.
Quit smoking. Diet's a problem. I like to eat. I like good food. So
I think
We all do. We all eat.
Yeah,
I
we
could
all
probably stand to lose some weight, but I'm right around 200, which isn't too bad.
Okay.
So most of my
ahead.
life, when I go to the doctor for a checkup or whatever, they'd say, "You got a heart murmur." I go, "Yeah, okay." And I guess it was congenital because I was fairly young when they first told me about it in my 20s,
Okay.
and they never said any more about it. But every time I'd go to the doctor, I'd have to hear, "Hey, you got a murmur," and I go,
Wow.
"Yeah, okay. What are we going to do? Nothing. Okay." So this continued every time I'd see whatever doctor, he would tell me you got a murmur. So my regular doctor, who I see, for my statins and all that stuff, I go see him for blood work regularly. So this one day he goes, "You got a murmur." And it was funny because he's the one that had always been telling me. And I go, "Yeah, I know." He goes, "No, you need a echocardiogram right now."
Okay.
I go, "Well, I'll get one." He goes, "No, I mean right now." Because I guess they had a person coming in the office that day to give them.
Okay.
So they gave me one, and he goes, "Yep, you got aortic stenosis." And I go, "What aortic stenosis? What's that?"
What's that?
Well, so it's a bad valve in my aorta. And he says, "Go to your cardiologist and let him see what he says."
Okay.
So I went to a cardiologist, another echocardiogram. He says, "Okay, you've got aortic stenosis, but it's a mild form. It's in the mild stages."
Okay.
He goes, "We'll just keep watching." And now this was 6 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Once a year, I'd go back, another echocardiogram. Nothing's changed. Never had symptoms, anything.
So he said nothing's changed.
What's that?
You didn't get worse, or you didn't get better? You just
At that point, for the first 5 years, no change at all. My echoes didn't change. I never got symptoms.
Medications. You were on
No
medications.
medication for
Okay.
no
Interesting.
no medication. I'm on statins, but that was it.
Okay.
Nothing to do with the murmur.
That's cholesterol.
So let's see. Yes, about 6 months ago, the results changed from the echocardiogram. I moved from mild to severe.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And coincidentally, and there's mild to there's a critical, which is beyond severe, which I thank God didn't get to.
Okay.
But what happened was, it was coincidentally, once I was diagnosed in the severe category, all of a sudden the symptoms started. I started getting short of breath, and if whatever I was doing, that maybe
we all know that. Yep.
Yeah, we've all been there.
I'd get the chest pains.
Okay.
So when I told him that, he goes, "Well, then it's time for the valve."
Oh,
So
wow.
then, he wanted to send me to Vassar. I didn't want to go to Vassar. I wanted to go to New York. We're going to go to New York Presbyterian. So he.
And why did you not like Vassar?
Bad stories that I've heard about results in the procedure there. I don't want to name any names or go into it, but
Yeah, we're gonna avoid a lot of names if it's all possible.
Yes.
But I knew if I go to New York Presbyterian, I'm with the best of the best. So let's do that. So my doctor gave me the name of this Dr. Kodali, who I guess is the head of the department in New York Presbyterian that does the valves.
Okay.
Set up a consultation with him. Went in to see him. Then we started doing the testing. Let's see what I have to do. I had to get a CAT scan, my entire upper body. They wanted to see how big my arteries were to see if they could do a TAVR.
Got it.
Luckily, they were wide open, no problem. Let's see, what else did they give me? In the process, I needed a catheterization to measure, I don't know what.
Everything.
In the
That's a cardio catheterization?
Excuse me?
Cardio catheterization?
Yes.
Okay.
So when they did that, they found I had a 70% blockage in one of my arteries.
Whoa.
So they threw a stent in while we're here, let's put a stent.
That's when they do it. Was it in your wrist or somewhere else?
They did it through my wrist. Yeah.
Okay, you got lucky.
I did. So that
wait. Before we continue, Greg, I want you to add on to that. Like, why did he get lucky?
Catheterizations can enter at certain points in your body. Generally, it's through the groin. Sometimes, if you're capable and you're able to go in through the wrist. After my transplant, I had catheterizations through my neck.
Wow.
And
that couldn't have been comfortable.
Well, you get used to it because they do it 18 times in 1 year after a transplant.
Oh, God.
Okay. All right.
And just to proceed, that's when they do stents. When they're doing catheterizations, they're literally going to find out everything. It's a total engine check.
Right.
Wow.
Right.
Joe, we continue. Sorry about that.
Okay. Yeah. So for the catheterization, I went through my wrist. Never talked about going through the groin. Although, if I jump ahead a little bit for the TAVR, they are.
Oh, yeah.
And it makes a lot of sense because, when you look at the anatomy, they go in through that artery and it's a straight shot right up through your chest, right to the aorta.
Wow.
So let's see what else. I got the catheterization, got the CAT scans, X-rays. One thing I found out.
Can I ask you, what did they explain to you about the TAVR and why not other treatments?
I don't know. I'm guessing it wasn't that right off the bat they said we're going to do the TAVR. They said if you're a candidate, we'll do the TAVR. So I had to do all the testing and whatnot. So it turns out I was a candidate.
Was it the valve itself? Is there part of the valve? I've heard all different types of valve replacement repair procedures.
As far as I know, it's the valve itself.
The valve itself.
Yeah. And one of the things my cardiologist up here had told me when we were still talking about maybe getting it, he says, if you get it or when you get it, it's only going to be good for 10 to 15 years. And I go, and then what? He goes, and then we'll have to crack you open and put another one in. Because I guess at that time, this is how fast technology changes. This 6 months ago, he says, I got to crack you open again to change it. Now they're telling me, because of my anatomy, they can put one in big enough that if that goes bad, they can put another one in right on top of it. Same way, up through the artery.
It's really incredible.
I like crack you open like a walnut.
Yeah. Yeah.
Crack you open in 6 months, and they'll give you another one.
Yep. Let's do it again.
Do it again.
Well,
do it again.
Crack you open isn't a rib cage.
Yeah. Well, even that's changing. I saw some pictures where they went laterally instead of longitudinally. They're going just in between the ribs. They don't cut you open.
That's what I'm.
That would be cool too.
Describe.
And the least amount of trauma to your body is best.
That's always the best way to go.
But now the new twist that I've just found out about was pacemaker. I had heard you might need a pacemaker. We'll see when the time comes. Okay. So now my doctor, let's see, there's there's a cardiology surgeon on the team. I had to meet with him. He looked at all my tests. He goes, I don't know what to tell you. You got perfect anatomy. There's not going to be any problems. And we'll see you in the operating room. So to me, that means everything's so wide open that they're just going to get in, do what they got to do, and get out. Okay. This thing with the pacemaker, I found out, because everything's so close to the electrical system of the heart, if they bump it or whatever, you need a pacemaker. And I went everywhere from never hearing about a pacemaker to maybe having a temporary pacemaker to one doctor telling me if you get it, it's permanent. Wow. So I don't really know what's going to happen with the pacemaker. We'll see after 30.
I've had one. My first surgery was 2004, and I had a heart failure, and they put a pacemaker defibrillator in me. The good news is it takes 10 minutes.
How do they do it? How do they put it in?
You get an incision. I don't even know if you're going to see it. There's an incision right there where they put the battery in.
Okay.
And then they literally run the wires through your shoulder and chest, and it goes literally into your heart where it does the monitoring.
Wow. You have like a permanent jumper cable.
Yeah, really.
It pretty much. The first one I had was one wire with one lead. And you want to talk about how technology changes. When I had the battery replaced, that was one surgery. 3 years later was a wire replacement. And everything had grown over the wire. This is literally, well, it's 15 years later.
Yeah, yeah.
And it went from one wire to 3 wires and 12 leads.
Well, it works better though, right?
And so you get much better coverage as opposed to like literally like a barbecue temperature tester.
Wow.
Right.
You know.
Now this question goes to you, Greg. So what kind of a battery do they put in there? Is it like one of those R2032 batteries? Is it double A? Is it one of those ones that way?
I can answer it this way. It is lithium.
Okay, so it's lithium battery.
It's probably 2 inches round and maybe a half inch thick. And they're going to stick it in a spot that you're going to feel it, but after a couple of weeks, you're not going to know it's there. Yeah, you're not going to know it's there. And they calibrate you, you know, while you're asleep. And you know, when I asked how long does it take to put in a pacemaker, like, you know, what's the surgery? 10 minutes. You're out for 10 minutes. So
I don't know whether they'll do it as part of the TAVR or will they wait till the next day to stick it in?
I wouldn't know exactly, but I would think if you're under, they're going to do it.
You know, that's another thing. It's not general anesthesia. They give me Michael Jackson juice.
Oh,
I'm only out for like 45 minutes.
Then I wouldn't know. I'd ask.
Oh yeah, I'll definitely.
No, this show is not about definitive medical advice, and what we're really trying to go after is your perspective, your feelings, your history, how you got here, where you're going, and one of the things that we've been trying to advocate. You already have. You're the prime example. You wanted to know because of your father.
Yes.
What's going to happen to you? And you got on your case early and you started finding out about all the instances that he suffered through that you didn't necessarily want to go through and prevent.
Yep.
And that's what it is. What the change of heart means is everything that leads up to your incident and then what happens afterwards and how you get a new lease on life.
Yeah. Well, you know, like I said, I didn't have any symptoms at all until about 6 months ago. And then they weren't serious. I mean, it was only if I was like really pushing it, going up an incline, I'd get out of breath and get the chest pains. That started to slowly increase where I won't say I get them every time I go out and do something, but I'm much more aware of the fact that I'm getting out of breath sooner than I used to in the last 6 months. So it's good that this is happening this week because I don't know how much longer I'm going to last like this.
Well,
wait. Sorry, Greg.
No,
Joe,
go ahead.
How old are you?
71, 72.
Get out of here.
You look great, by the way.
You look great for 71.
Thank you.
You know why? Because you're a photographer. You're in the creative field.
There you go.
Yeah,
And they tell me I can't lift anything beyond 10 pounds. My camera's not 10 pounds, and I carry it every day. Never have a problem.
okay.
One of the things you had spoken about was how you felt fine, and then you had the symptoms coming on. Right. And this may be a repetitive theme, and we end up telling our own stories a bunch of times. But Anthony and I are both bass players, and when
I'm a drummer too.
Oh, dudes! See, we have a rhythm section consortium on our.
We're going to talk more, but what I wanted to drive at was when you had no symptoms coming on, and then they came on, and the person I'm going to talk about now is our other co-host, Anthony. And when I saw Anthony, it was right before he left to Europe, and I had made a pick guard for him, and everything's fine. And then 3 weeks later, he comes back and he's telling me he's not feeling so well. And 10 days after that, he's telling me he's checking into an ER.
Wow.
And he had put on close to 40 pounds of fluid.
Water weight.
Yeah, that's not good.
And it's kind of like what spawned the purpose of this program.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about music. When him and I talk, it can go on for hours on 10 different subjects.
Sure.
And when it started to become about heart disease, he was the newbie, and I don't want to say the Jimi Hendrix of heart disease, but one day you'll hear my story, and I've had a bunch of procedures over a bunch of years, and 2.5 years out on a transplant now. Wow. But what we're hearing is the common theme of I felt great, I felt great, I felt great. Now I got symptoms. And for 71, you look in really good shape, and bless you, and it just to have all that behind you now, and to look forward to being repaired and recovered.
Yeah. It was bugging me the most. Like, we just had a storm a week ago. You know that storm, everybody, wind and rain.
Oh yeah.
And trees come, big branches down in my backyard. Something wiped out part of my fence. I can't go out and clean it up, and it's driving me crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Shit like that.
Is that because of how you feel?
Yeah, because I know ahead of time. As soon as I pick up the chainsaw and start working it, I'm going to be out of breath and chest pains. So I got to let it wait until I'm well healed from this procedure, and then I'll go clean it up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I was in construction my whole life too, so to not be active, it's killing me.
These are the things that happen, and one of the issues that has come up, because we're learning new things from talking to all different people, and it's about male pride, and it's about knowing that you can be able to do things, and whether it's going to be shoveling snow. Right. Or it's going to be lifting groceries, or walking up a hill.
That's the worst.
Something affects you that it's going to change your outlook from where you've been the first decades of your life.
Yeah, so I'm a photographer. I do music photography and I do real estate. And the music photography is not a problem because it's flat level surfaces. I'm walking around shooting everybody. Mm-hmm. With the real estate, you never know when you're going to come to a house. You got to walk down a hill to the backyard, then you got to walk up the hill to come back. Mm-hmm. And every time I get out of breath, and sometimes the chest pains start too. So I got to take it real easy.
Okay. Are you taking aspirins? Are you taking over-the-counters?
I'm on Plavix since and they had me on a baby aspirin.
Okay,
that's
good.
It.
Yeah, no, I've been on both.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll have to go on anything else after the procedure, but probably just what I'm already doing.
They'll let you know. I don't want to tell you I've been up and down the medical vocabulary at this point, because of all the transplant medications. But before that, I had the heart pump with the medications. And before that, I had heart failure medications.
Right.
So, it's good to see you're at where you're at. And we want to wish you the best of luck, and can't wait to hear you and see you again. And thank you very much. Anthony, anything else you want to add?
Well, actually, I want to ask you in reference to your jobs because you have, you're a photographer, obviously, and you're also in real estate. Are there any stress-related factors of the job that might contribute to it? You mentioned, obviously, with real estate, going up, depending on the house, the property, going up and down hills, you might have out of
No,
breath.
the,
Now, let's say you're shooting a job. You're shooting a really active
the
fan.
only stressful situations, and it's physically stressful, not mentally stressful. It's and it's strange. Almost everybody's house has a set of steps. I can go up
Yes.
steps, no problem at all. It doesn't make me out of breath. It doesn't give me chest pains. But as soon as I go outside and walk around the house and have to walk up a hill to come back, that's when it starts. And it doesn't matter if it's a big hill, small. I walked up a big hill one day and I thought I was going to die. I really did. I was sitting in my car going, man, I cannot breathe. And that's when it really hit me. You got to really take it easy.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But that's it. With the music shoots I do, I'm a staff photographer at Daryl's. It's all flat land, flat area. I just make my way around. I got 6 or 7 spots I shoot from. If I'm at the chance shooting there, you got to do the steps once in a while. But other than that, steps don't bother me. So that's not a problem. Okay. So really the only thing that bothers me in my job, my day-to-day job, is walking the hills when I'm going around a house, taking pictures of it.
Mm-hmm. Now, are you married with kids or anything like that?
I'm married. My son is 40. I'm going to say 47. He's a bass player, singer, guitarist also.
Okay. Nice.
He's got a son, which is my grandson, Tyler. He's going to turn 18. He can play piano pretty good.
Okay. I was waiting for you to say I'm married. My wife gives me a lot of stress.
She takes good care of me. She said if it wasn't for her, I'd be dead long ago, and I believe it.
That's true.
Well, and that's also one of the last topics is the support around you after your procedure and your recovery.
Yeah, well, even before, she won't let me take the garbage out. She won't let me lift anything. Groceries, she takes the groceries in because she doesn't want to carry it. So she does.
Yeah, no, it's life saving. It's life saving. The people around you are going to be your lifeline.
Yes, you wouldn't want to be in a position where your wife says to you, "Honey, I need you to take 100 pounds of sand, and then I need you to move it in front of everything." Because then you realize, and then she says afterwards, "I need you to sign this life insurance."
Right.
Please sign this document, and then you got to go out and move 100 pounds of sand.
Yep.
You're in trouble.
Then you're in trouble.
Big trouble at that point. Awesome.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Joe, thank you very much for being on with us.
Appreciate it.
We're looking to do a part 2 with this, see how you feel afterwards.
We want to thank you, Joe, for not only reaching out but participating so quickly.
Sure.
Yes.
And look forward to coming back after the procedure and let you know how much better I feel.
Fantastic.
Absolutely. Yep.
Fantastic.
Awesome.
Great.
Okay, so here we go, and take off the recording. Okay, and recording.